Imagine reaching the top of the mountain, the very peak you spent 20 years climbing, only to realize the air is too thin to breathe. You look around at the others standing there with you, the successful, the celebrated, the wealthy, and you do not see freedom. You see exhaustion. You see fear behind their eyes. You realize that while they have conquered the mountain has actually conquered them. They possess the title of millionaire, but they possess none of the liberty that was supposed to come with it. Today we will be talking about the most guarded secret in the system of money. The difference between looking rich and being sovereign. In this video you will face things you never imagined. Truths about success that might actually hurt to hear because they challenge the trophies you have spent a lifetime chasing. Stay with me and I will change your thoughts about what it means to be truly wealthy. And the most important thing is how to get out of the trap that catches the winners. At the end of the video, I will give you the best thing, the strategy, so you can take this education of money and face the system with it. To understand how you can surpass 90% of millionaires in a single year, we must first dismantle the illusion of what a modern millionaire actually is. We tend to view the millionaire as the end game. But if you look closely at the financial anatomy of the upper middle class and the lower rich, you see a precarious structure. You see high incomes matched by high liabilities. You see big houses, luxury cars, and private school tuitions all resting on the fragile foundation of a 60-hour work week. This is not wealth. This is high-performance slavery. The Machiavellian insight here is the distinction between reputation and power. Most people chase the reputation of wealth. They want the optics. They want the signifiers that tell the world, I have made it. But in doing so, they sacrifice the power of wealth. They trade their autonomy for applause. The strategy to surpass them is not to make more money than them, though you might. It is to structure your life in a way that they cannot afford to. The vast majority of millionaires today are asset rich, but cash flow poor and time bankrupt. They have a net worth on paper that looks impressive, but they cannot stop working. If they stop, the lifestyle collapses. They are trapped by their own overhead. They are terrified of losing their position. This fear makes them conservative, rigid, and stressed. They are not the masters of their money. They are the custodians of their debts. To surpass them, you must embrace a strategy of strategic subtraction. This is the Machiavellian pivot. While the world tells you to add more expenses, add more staff, add more complexity, the true strategist subtracts. You surpass the 90% not by having a bigger yacht, but by having a fortress of solitude that requires zero maintenance. Real power, the kind that protects you from the chaos of the world, is defined by one metric, your ability to say no. Consider the typical millionaire. Can they say no to a difficult client? No, because they need the revenue to pay the mortgage on the vacation home. Can they say no to a toxic boss or a board of directors? No, because their identity is tied to their title. They are leveraged to the hilt, not just financially, but psychologically. Now, imagine you. You may have half their net worth, but your lifestyle costs a fraction of theirs. Your assets are not trophies, but engines. Boring, unglamorous cash flow machines that produce income whether you get out of bed or not. You have no need to impress strangers. You have no debt that keeps you awake at night. In any negotiation, you have the ultimate leverage. You can walk away. In the eyes of the bank, the other man may be richer. But in the mechanics of reality, you are the king and he is the courtier. He must dance for his dinner. You eat when you please. This brings us to the concept of fragility. Machiavelli warned that a prince who relies on mercenaries is never safe, because mercenaries are loyal only to the paycheck. In your financial life, your mercenaries are the symbols of status you pay for. They drain your resources and offer no protection when the economy turns. The 90% of millionaires are fragile. A recession, a lawsuit, or a health crisis can wipe them out because their burn rate is too high. To surpass them, you build anti-fragility. You build a financial life that is robust, lean, and liquid. You value liquidity over equity. You value control over growth. The modern financial industry sells you complex products designed to lock up your money. They tell you to put it away for 40 years. They tell you to buy liquid assets that look good on a balance sheet. Why? Because they make fees on complexity. The simple strategy is to reject complexity. Complexity is the enemy of execution. The wealthy man who is stressed because his life is a tangle of obligations. To beat him, you simply refuse to play his game. You do not compete on his turf. While he is fighting to upgrade his status, you are quietly upgrading your freedom. This requires a profound psychological shift. You have to be willing to look less successful than you actually are. This is the art of concealment. Machiavelli advised that it is better to be feared than loved, but best of all is to be underestimated. When you are underestimated, you are left alone. You are not a target. The flashy millionaire is a target for the IRS, for lawsuits, for family members asking for loans. By staying lean and understated, you move through the world with the freedom of a ghost. The reason 90% of millionaires never reach this level is that they are addicted to the validation. They need the world to know they won. But the moment you need the world's validation, you belong to the world. You are no longer a sovereign entity. So what does this strategy look like in the real world? It looks like decoupling your time from your income. This is the only hurdle that matters. If you're earning $500,000 a year, but you have to be in a specific chair for 10 hours a day to get it, you are poor. You are a highly paid instrument, but you are still an instrument. The person who earns $150,000 a year from passive sources, who wakes up without an alarm clock, who spends their day reading, thinking, and building, is infinitely wealthier. The 90% are playing a finite game. They are trying to get the highest score before they die. You must play an infinite game. You are trying to build a system that sustains itself. This is where the education system failed you most completely. It taught you to maximize income, not to maximize leverage. It taught you that more is always better. But in strategy, enough is a weapon. Once you define what is enough, you cap your downside. You stop the lifestyle creep. You trap the surplus capital and force it to work for you. The typical millionaire lets the surplus leak out into lifestyle. You must build a dam. When you hold this surplus, you gain the ability to wait. Patience is a luxury the frantic millionaire does not have. He needs the deal to close now. You can wait for the perfect opportunity. When the market crashes and everyone is panicking, the 90% are selling their assets to cover their debts. That is when you, the sovereign strategist, step in and buy their kingdom for pennies on the dollar. That is how you surpass them. You win not by speed but by endurance. Now, how do you take this education of money and face the system with it? How do you apply this effectively? You face the system by becoming immune to its primary weapon, the manipulation of your desires. The system needs you to want things. It needs you to want the bigger house, the newer car, the sharper suit. It bombards you with images of what success looks like, so that you will go into debt to acquire them. To face the system, you must kill the consumer inside you and birth the owner. The strategy is this. For 1 year, you commit to a radical detachment from status. You stop trying to keep up. You look at your expenses and you ruthlessly cut anything that is there solely for the perception of others. You take that capital and you do not save it. You deploy it. You buy your freedom. You pay off the debt that controls you. You purchase the cash-flowing asset that covers your basic needs. You treat your financial life like a military campaign. Your goal is not to look good on parade. Your goal is to hold territory. The territory is your time. Every dollar you deploy into an asset is a soldier that fights to win back your hours. When you do this, you become